A Republican pastor and mayor in Alabama died by suicide after being outed by a conservative blog. So, F.L. Bubba Copeland, the Republican mayor of Smith Station, Alabama, as well as pastor at Phoenix City's First Baptist Church, was outed by 1819 News, a right wing publication. I'm going to call it a rag because that's what it is. If this is the subject of their reporting, um, he was outed allegedly as a transgender woman going by the pseudonym Brittany Blair Summerlin. Now, Copeland unfortunately leaves behind a wife and 3 children. The Post on 1819 News claimed that he had operated social media accounts as a transgender woman and wore women's clothing. Now, it's true he did operate social media using this alter ego, you know. This also stated that he published self-authored transgender fiction and erotica and posted transgender pornography. None of that is bad. That's all, again, on his own time. And yet, this so-called news agency decided to publish these personal details, even though they had nothing to do with his professional life at all. And even after Copeland reached out to them and asked them not to. He told the publication that, look, that his cross-dressing, and that's what it was just a hobby and a fantasy that he used to de-stress, and that he did not actually feel like a woman, wasn't actually transitioning. And let's be very clear, too. This man had no issues with the LGBTQ community whatsoever, never spoke out against them, never tried to, legislate them out of existence. And so there's no hypocrisy here. There's just a man trying to live his life, to apparently de-stress, do this fantasy stuff outside of work, outside of his congregation, outside of all of that on his personal time, with his wife's knowledge and understanding. What's the issue here? There isn't any issues. In fact, he said, quote, "It's a hobby. It's just my wife knows about it. It's a hobby I do to relieve stress. I have a lot of stress, and I'm not medically transitioning. It's just a bit of character I'm playing. I don't go out and seek solicitation or anything like that. What I do in private life has nothing to do with what I do in my holy life. Does this have any effect on me being mayor, that I sometimes put on a dress and sometimes put on makeup? Does that have anything to do with whatsoever me being mayor or being a pastor?" Now, the answer, of course, is no. No, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It wasn't anybody's business what he does in his personal life to de-stress, if that's the reason. Again, I don't really care because it's not my business. And it wasn't 1819 News business either. I mean, it's not a story. It's just outing stuff that's embarrassing about a person. For what? For what? Clicks and views. Again, they ran the story, and after the post was published, Copeland first reportedly spoke to his congregation about it, saying, quote, "The article is not who or what I am. I apologize for any embarrassment caused by my private and personal life that has become public." According to AL.com, "This will not cause my life to change. This will not waver my devotion to my family, serving my city, serving my church." It didn't cause harm to, the city or anything like that. But it did cause huge harm to him mentally. So now first, the Alabama Baptist State Convention and the Alabama Baptist State Board of Missions immediately went after him. They released a joint statement explaining that they'd become aware of the alleged unbiblical behavior related to the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Phoenix City. "We are praying for our leaders, for the leaders of the church family, as they seek to determine the truth concerning these accusations. As the people of God, we pray for the pastor, his family as well." Yes, we pray for you. Yes. Now, they also said, "We're in consultation with the Russell Baptist Association leadership as they endeavor to assist the First Baptist family during this critical time of need." So, look, what I'm guessing that they were probably going to do is to try to remove him from that position. And so, unfortunately for Copeland, I mean, he kind of knew the writing on the wall. And according to a local news station, WDHN, when police tried to, find him for a welfare check, they couldn't find him initially, and then did catch up to him while he was on the road. He was driving his truck. They attempted to pull him over. He pulled over and then got out of the car and shot himself. And that was it. And wow, what was the point of outing this person? Now he's dead. Now, the reaction from the community was anger, but not any anger directed at him, because he is the victim here. In fact, Phoenix City Schools former superintendent, Dr. Larry DeCharia, wrote on Facebook, "I'm so angry right now and heartbroken. I witnessed a good man be publicly ridiculed, crucified over the last few days, to the point that he just took his own life today. I knew he was suffering, so I reached out to him yesterday and offered him support and encouragement. He was appreciative and acknowledged that he had been going through some dark days over the last few days. Just want to ask people who thought it was humorous to publicly ridicule him, are you happy now? What crime did he commit? Some of you people make me sick. I hope you're really proud. For our brother F.L. Bubba Copeland, may God bless your soul and forgive those who took pleasure in your suffering. They should all be ashamed." Powerful words. Incredibly. All right. There's more. Alabama's former Senator Doug Jones wrote on X that, quote, "It is sad and disgusting how Copeland was treated by the 1819 News for personal decisions, however misguided they might have been." Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Doug Jones, I'm going to disagree that they're misguided. It's not your place to judge. He's going to do what he's going to do. The whole point, the whole reason that he ended his own life is because of that kind of judgment against him for things that don't have any impact on anyone else whatsoever. Nothing negative that he has been doing. That he did, okay. Everything he did had no impact on anyone else at all in any sort of negative way. So, however misguided, no, you can stuff it, Doug Jones. All right? I know he's trying to say, well, it's sad and disgusting how he was treated. I agree. And then you went on to kind of do the same thing. That's the problem. But he said, "We live in a mean, better world where the self-righteous tend to throw the largest stones, and the 1819 News is a perfect example." Jones also mentioned the deadly tornado through which Copeland led Smith Station in 2019 during his first term as mayor. He became nationally known as a good leader after the devastating event took 23 lives. Jones called Copeland a good man and a great mayor. "I toured the destruction with him," he said, "helped him navigate the FEMA recovery efforts and made sure he was able to plead his case directly to President Trump." There's more. Alabama Pardons and Paroles Director Cam Ward also mourned Copeland, writing on X, "This is so incredibly sad. We live in a society where many people are going through so much. Regardless of decisions we may disagree with, we should always love our fellow man as the Bible teaches us. I know firsthand a lot of folks reading his story should look in the mirror." Ward was responding to a post by Leah Nelson, research director at Alabama Appleseed Center for Law and Justice, who said, "This man, by the accounts I read, was a good mayor who led us down through a terrible time. Blowing up his private life in this environment was a cruel decision." Yeah, I mean, again, there's really nothing that in his mayoral record that shows that he was a bad person or a bad politician or anything like that. And so they just ran this guy through the mud for no reason. Lee County Democratic Party chairperson Jeremy Lowell called Copeland the backbone of Smith Station and said the practice of demonizing each because of personal life choices must end because it has very real and life-altering consequences. Finally, I want to go to a statement here from one of the members of his congregation saying, quote, "Thank you, Bubba, for loving me as I am, for believing in me at moments when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you for being willing to get a little mud in your hands and helping me out of the ditch more than a few times. You will forever hold a special place in my heart." So look, the thing about this guy is, again, generally liked by both sides of the aisle. No evidence that he ever attacked or hated on anybody that's a member of the LGBTQ plus community, the trans community, never attacked gay rights, never did anything like that. So really no reason to hate on this guy. No hypocrisy at all. Just guy living, again, his own life, doing what he was going to do, whether it be de-stressing, I don't really care. But it was too much for some of these, far-right a-holes who thought, no, it'd be great. We're going to out this guy with a super embarrassing story so we can get some clicks on our crappy website. That's it. That's what it all was for. Clicks, views, money, revenue, and that's it. They know that their audience is vicious. A bunch of hateful people who hates anyone who may be LGBTQ, and I don't think this guy was, or even just, a cross-dresser. Nobody cares. Nobody should care about this, okay? But the thing is, the far right now is so obsessed with trans people. They're so obsessed with drag queens. They think they're all groomers, when in reality, there's no evidence to back that up whatsoever. There just isn't. This guy didn't hurt anybody, didn't do anything. In fact, look, when it comes to the, people who are cross-dressers, people who are drag queens, people who are LGBTQ, all who are in those categories, they're more often than not victimized. They're victims of hatred and crimes and of taking their own lives through criticism, as a result of criticism. And that's what happened here, okay? This is what happens when you out people in that environment. Look, he had a community of people who knew him, that mourned him, right? And the problem is, again, you had people who were not part of that community, people who didn't know him, people who, these vicious right-wingers who made these judgment calls against him, and probably send him, vicious comments, messages, and just to overall, trying to, shame him, embarrass him, all that stuff. And that's what happened. And it's all because of this, again, right-wing rag that had nothing better to report on than something that a person does in his own home. It didn't harm anybody. And again, what makes this already terrible, this disgusting, sad situation just that much worse is the fact that so-called news outlet, they're not sorry at all. In fact, 1819 News Editor-in-Chief Jeff Poore told AL.com that our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Smith Station, the parishioners of First Baptist Church in Phoenix City, and the victims and family of Mayor Copeland. What are you talking about, victims? And by the way, they also refuse to apologize for putting out. They stand by their intrepid reporting. Well, what are you talking about, though? Oh yeah, no, thoughts and prayers for the victims of Mayor Copeland. What victims? What victims? Who did this guy victimize? Did he victimize anybody? No, he didn't. He's the victim. You got people that are incapable of seeing that what they're doing, victimizing other people for their, for the choices those people make that don't affect them whatsoever. That's what's going on here. Victims. No. Mayor Copeland is your victim. He pulled the trigger, but you forced his hand. That's what you did. Because he knew how much hate there was out there for people like himself that you brought upon him. You did that. You took somebody's personal life and you destroyed it. I hope you feel real good about yourselves.